I heard someone say the ball's at the 2-yard line. Seattle had the ball on the half-yard line. Ask them how that worked out.
That was all about Tom Brady. But
whatever.
Yeah.
Skip, it's just hard for me to believe 3 ball-dominant players can be successful on the same team.
Yep.
Skip, I love ice cream. I love cake.
Yep.
I love gravy. I just don't want all 3 of them together. You know what I'm saying? Here, I like Chris Paul over there. I like James Harden over there. I like Melo over there. And I know what everybody's saying. Man, you saw how Melo played in the Olympics? That was 8 games. Now you got to multiply that by 10.
Yeah.
And he's playing with 2 other. You've never seen James Harden. And I'm talking about this James Harden. I'm not talking about the one that played the first 3 or 4 years in OKC. I'm not talking about him. I'm talking about that one that we see on the screen. Chris Paul has never had to play off the ball. He's always had the ball in his hand. And Carmelo has always had the ball in his hand, for the most part. Now, when Chauncey was there and they went to the Western Conference Finals and they lost to the Lakers, that was a little different. Chauncey had the ball, but Chauncey was a Finals MVP, so he had that kind of cachet.
Yep.
Skip, for me, I just don't get it how they think this can work. And for Carmelo, it was reported that he went to the New York bosses. It says it's either him, being Mike D'Antoni, or me. Mike D'Antoni got wind of that, says, I want no part of this. He resigns. Mike D'Antoni then goes to Houston. Melo is still in New York. Now, all of a sudden, the guy that Melo says is either him or me, I don't like this system, I can't play in this system, he wants to go play for him. Skip, and I use the analogy, it's like being married to a person. You get a divorce, and you're like, okay, yeah, you know what, we're better friends, we can get back together. You get married again. And then halfway through it, Skip, like month 3, month 4, you realize, like, you know what? There's a reason why I divorced you, but to begin with. And that's what's going to happen to Carmelo. I understand he wants to win a championship, but let me tell you what you got. I'm going to put it in terms that women can love. You have 3 Victoria's Secret models. And every year when they have the Victoria's Secret runway show, Skip, they have this specially designed bra. Costs $3 million. Got rubies and emeralds and diamonds. Only one can wear it. Giselle, Alexandria Ambrosia, or Adriana Lima. They ain't making 3 of them. They only got 1. They're not going to have 3 balls, Skip. They're only going to have 1.
How much Google research did you
I
have
don't
to
need
do
no
on that
Google
one?
rule. I know them, Skip.
God.
I know I be watching it.
Huh? You memorized all their names.
I know Carly Close, too. I know them all, Skip. Marissa Miller, I know them all.
How do you know
I be
them all?
watching.
And
I be
why
watching.
Why do you know them all?
I be watching this. Chantel Iman, too.
Okay. Wow.
I know them.
You made that clear, yes.
Yes.
Oh, my bad, Skip. Skip. I get it. Everybody's trying to load up in the Western Conference to do what, Skip? Take down the mighty Warriors. I get it.
Mm-hmm.
But the one thing that the Warriors have that nobody else does is they don't really have anybody that's ball dominant.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody can play without the ball. That's
true.
what makes them so successful. Now, and plus you got a guy in Kevin Durant. You remember Game 5? And Skip, I'm going to turn it over to you. When every time Cleveland made a run, Steph didn't take a shot, Clay didn't take a shot, Draymond didn't take a shot. They had that 6'11" guy with that over 7-foot wingspan. Said, "Come see me down here."
That is correct.
And every run they tried to make, the Cavs tried to make, Durant stomped it out.
Yeah, best player on the planet.
He's second best, but anyway, this is not going to work.
I know Daryl Morey a little bit. I like Daryl Morey a lot. He's a smart guy and he's a funny guy, but he is becoming infamous for throwing superstars against the locker room wall and hoping they stick together.
Yes.
And he tried Dwight Howard with James, and it just didn't work. And now he's desperate to try to overcome Golden State, and he's trying to pull off something that I'm going to be really surprised if he can pull this off through a 4-way deal, because if the Knicks truly want some young value back, I just don't see how they're going to get it back.
Not from Houston.
Not from Houston, because the only trade piece that I see is Ryan Anderson, who makes $61 more million over the next 3 years. Why would the Knicks take that on? Where's that going to get the Knicks? Because I'm not sure where it even got the Rockets.
Skip, you're going to trade Ryan Anderson for Carmelo Anthony, a guy that doesn't score as well as Carmelo and plays worse defense than Melo.
He is a liability, and he can be a liability from three because, as we saw against my Spurs, he will
Yeah.
have nights where he will go crazy ice cold, and he'll have nights where he'll go nuts,
Yep.
good nuts.
Yep.
But again, can you is that 61 million?
No
worth
one
the
can't
next-
trust that.
No, you can't. So I told you from the start, if this is best case scenario, dream world, dream sequence, if the Knicks would just buy out Carmelo and say, thank you very much, you're gone, you can go wherever you want, then he should go to Cleveland because he would fit with LeBron.
Yes.
Because LeBron, he admires him. You know, he would, they're so close that he would listen to him and he could come in and play a role for that team. Again, if you don't have to give up anything for him, if you can keep your big three together and bring in one, I still think it would work. It would make them better.
$52 million it's probably going to cost you about $50 million to buy him out. Skip, the thing is, Carmelo views himself on the same level as these guys. He knows he's not on LeBron's level because LeBron has 4 MVPs. LeBron has 3 finals wins. He's gone to 8. So he knows,
Yeah.
Skip, Melo is a 12-time All-Star.
Yeah.
He's actually been farther in the playoffs other than James Harden, before James Harden became the James Harden we know, than any of these guys. Chris Paul has never been to the Western Conference Finals. So Chris Paul can't say, well, Melo, this is what you need to do. How do you get to tell me what I need to do?
That's a fact. Thank you for saying that. So now we have a James Harden that you pushed all last year for MVP,
Yes.
and it was close.
Yes.
It was a battle, night after night battle. And James Harden became the center of Mike D'Antoni's 7 seconds or less shooting universe, right?
Yep.
And all of a sudden, you're telling him he had the second highest usage rate in the NBA, just barely to, obviously, Russell Westbrook. And now you're telling him Chris Paul's going to run the point, and a bunch of your shots are going to get taken by Carmelo Anthony? You want to talk about a demotion? Yeah. You would go from the happiest player on the planet to, seriously, the unhappiest player on the planet, because you went from MVP candidate, near miss MVP. A couple of years ago, the players did vote James Harden the MVP. Yes. You're going from that to just some other cog in the three-point shooting system? Really? It would be nightmarish, because James Harden can make waves. When he decides to make waves, he will speak out and up. And in this case, he would be miserable quickly.
And think about what you're going to have to give up. Houston, you just gave up the bulk of your depth just to get CP3.
Yeah.
You're going to have to give up more.
I assume you'd have to give up more, but I don't know how it would all
And
shake
Carmelo
out.
should know firsthand, because when he went from the Nuggets to the Knicks, they had to give up everything, and guess what? He was in a worse situation in New York than he was in Denver. And I forgot to mention the last one that Water Wings, Cannon Swanepoel.
Well, bottom line, if in fact LeBron James is going to the Riverwalk next year,
You
going to
hope.
my Spurs, I'm not hoping. You're telling me it's happening. You're convinced of it. If that's true, if it's one last hurrah in Cleveland this year, you know what they should do? I'm serious about this.
No.
They should trade Kevin
No.
Love straight up for
No.
Carmelo, because I'm pretty sure the Knicks would do that deal.
Yeah, I'm sure they would too.
Well,
But why-
you
but
don't
why-
love Kevin Love.
But why would the Cavs trade a guy that's 4 years older whose knees are worse than Kevin Love's back?
Because LeBron's going to be gone. You already told me.
Don't worry about
So maximize your shot this year. I promise you, Golden State would look across the floor at Melo and LeBron and Kyrie with more fear than they would Kevin Love and Kyrie.
Well, they're going to buy him out, and they're going to look across the floor and see Melo, Love,
They're not going to buy
Kyrie.
him out. They're not gonna buy him out.
And
Sorry.
and guess what? You know why LeBron's going to leave, Skip?
Yeah.
That way we'll suppress the value of the Cavs, and we're going to come back and buy it out from under Dan Gilbert.